I don't know that I ever really planned to retire early when I was younger. In fact, it wasn't something that I even thought about or dreamed about. I couldn't even picture myself at this time in my life. But things that happened along the way made me decide that I needed to do that. And we're going to talk today, honestly, about why I quit my job, why I chose to retire early, and what I have gained from this experience and the rewards that I am now reaping from stopping work before retirement age. Welcome, everyone. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and normally we talk about frugal living, saving money, cutting expenses, and living your best life on less. I am recently retired at the end of October, wintering in South Texas right now. I normally live in Kansas in a rural area. And today we're going to kind of have a get to know me. I'm going to tell you about why I quit my job, how I planned for that, and what I am doing to find new challenges and purpose now that I have quit my job. I hope this is interesting for you. I'm glad that you've joined me today, and let's get started. So, they say your 50s are the new 40s. I don't know if that's true. Let me know what you think about that. But they're saying that people are in better shape in their 50s, more so like when they were in their 40s, and that people are not aging as quickly because they're learning to eat right, take care of their bodies, and enjoy their senior years. And I guess they consider this senior years because I'm in my upper 50s. I don't feel like it because in here I'm still like in my 30s, and I think a lot of you can identify with that. Even if you look at a 75-year-old person, in their mind, they're not 75. They may look in the mirror and see that their body looks 75, but no one feels like it in here generally. And so as I moved into my 50s, I started having a lot of back problems. And I'd had a lot of falls throughout my life. I've never been a super balanced, steady person when I walk. I had a concussion when I was a very young child that messed up my balance my entire life. And so I had a lot of falls through my life. And at some point, I kind of stopped bouncing and I started breaking things and injuring myself. And at some point, I must have herniated a couple of discs. And so I went in for a procedure, had that done, and they messed up my back. If you're interested in that, I have a whole nother channel that I can link in the description box where I go into that in detail. But it became difficult for me to walk, stand, sit, get in and out of the bathtub. And I had a job where I had to go upstairs, carry a bag, drag a bag with a computer in it. A lot of times I would have to go up apartment stairs because I did home visits with seniors. Many times I'd have to go up porches and steps that were very, very steep without handrails, even in the winter on the ice and snow. And because these people couldn't get out, they weren't cleaning those stairs and they were maybe just going through the garage to get into it easier. So it became very difficult for me. And a promotion came up I was way overqualified for. I've been a nursing home administrator for 24 years, and I applied for this position. It was a supervisor position over a handful of people. I've managed up to 60 people in two different homes before. I've ran two different homes at the same time that were 80 miles apart before. I mean, I was overqualified for this position. But because I believe that I was over 50, I did not get chosen for this position. And many people that are in their 50s will tell you it's hard for them to find jobs. It's hard for them to get another job if they already have a job and they don't want that job. And it does become more difficult. There is age discrimination where that is concerned. So I wasn't happy at my job. And even though this promotion would have made it easier on my back, I didn't get the promotion. And I continued to work in this position that every single day I was in pain the entire day. When I got home, I was still in pain. I couldn't sleep. I was in pain. And then tomorrow I do it all over again. So I planned to quit my job and I started planning to try to figure out how I could live on less, how much I could live on, what I could do to make ends meet until Social Security could kick in, and if I had enough in savings to do that. And that motivated me to start looking at some of those things. So my priorities became less about money and more about less stress, less pain, more happiness, more freedom. And it became apparent that I needed to quit and that I could quit if I balanced my budget correctly. So, one of the things that I do is I look at ssa.gov. That's Social Security Administration.gov. And I get on there regularly and I see what my projections are for how much I am going to get when I retire. And you can look at whether you're 62, 62 and 4 months. Every month you'll gain just a little bit. If you decide to put that off, you can get more at 65, more at 67, more at 70. So it's up to you. You can look at your family history, the longevity of their lives. You can look at your own health issues and you can make that determination for yourself. And you do have to have enough credits to be able to take Social Security when that happens. They take your top 35 years and they calculate that to determine what your projections are. And every year when you do your taxes, if you've worked, then those projections change and those 35 years get recalculated. So I started watching this closely. I started using those numbers. And because we had our own business, I would sometimes have to look at it in January to see what they were projecting and then look again around June when our business income would post to see if that changed my numbers. And then I started looking at what can I do at home? What can I do at my own pace that I can do to help sustain and make my money go slower? And I started back with a lot of my hobbies that I'd had maybe when I was a child. I don't know that I've really gardened very much since I was a child. I've done a few things here and there, but I really started getting interested in gardening, doing some self-sufficient practices like that, on being able to grow some of my own food. I've looked at expanding my crops each year and trying to improve my yield on what I get from those crops, and trying to expand the types of the things that I'm willing to try to grow and the things that I'm willing to try to cook with. My cooking habits have changed as I find out more about what I can freeze. And I wanted to show you in this next clip seeds that I have chosen for this next year's crop. Whether or not you live in the city and you have to put some pots on your deck at your apartment, or you live where you have a yard, or in the country where you have more space, Dollar Tree has seeds 4 for $1. And look at the selection: broccoli, Swiss chard, spinach, cucumbers, kale, eggplant, different types of tomatoes, cabbage, carrots, yellow squash. Now, I harvested seeds for peppers and for zucchini last year and for some cucumbers, so I didn't need those, but they had those as well. And then don't forget your pollinators. We had a problem last year, not enough pollinators. We didn't have enough butterflies and bees, and it was really hard on our squash. We had a small crop. We could have had one a lot bigger, so I'm going to concentrate on pollinators this year. But these had no tax in Texas because they were counted as food. Now in Kansas, I would have had to have paid sales tax. So another exciting thing, but I had to go to 2 or 3 Dollar Trees because some of them are already losing selection. So hurry fast if you need to pick up some cheap seeds to try to plant some things this spring. So I'm excited when I get home to start my gardening again for the summer. I'm also learning more new things. I am learning how to can some things. My mother knew how, but she never taught me. So I'm wanting to learn how to do some refrigerator pickles, some easy refrigerator jams. I've learned how to can caramel. So there's several things that I have set myself as goals. So even as you get older, you can still add new things to the things that you want to learn and you want to accomplish. And that is the beauty of this age, the empty nest age, where you're kind of figuring out where you're at again. You spent your whole life, raising kids and trying to raise them into good adults and make them be self-sufficient and give them everything that they need so that they can be successful. And then you're kind of like, well, now what? Now what do I do? And that's where I was at. I was like, well, now what do I do with my life? And that was one of the times when we opened our second business because I didn't know what to do. All my 6 kids were grown. I didn't know what to do. I needed to throw myself into some kind of project, and our second business ended up being that second project, which in the long run, both of these businesses helped us build our nest egg, which was very important. So sometimes every single step leads you somewhere, even if you don't quite know where it's taking you. But I learned a lot of new things. I'm continuing to learn new things. I'm continuing to challenge myself by downsizing, donating, selling, giving away things so that my house is less full. And at some point, when my kids have to go through things, those things will be hopefully lessened. So it won't be as big of a event for them. I want to make my home a relaxing place where I love to spend time. And that has been happening over the last few years of me reducing my clutter. Being able to just walk into the living room, sit down, relax, everything's in its place, everything's picked up, nothing's stacked on the table. All of those things have been so beneficial. And see, all of this has been a gradual growth cycle, even from a young age into my 50s. I feel like I am still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still trying new things, and every day is still exciting. I look for opportunities to do side money gigs, if there's things that I can do to bring in a little extra money, just to make things a little more comfortable. It's not that I don't have enough or I can't make it work, but I like to challenge myself, and that's one of the areas I've always liked to challenge myself in. I also am enjoying spending time with my pets. That's something that I never felt like they got enough of my time. I felt like I had pets and they were waiting for me to spend time with them, but I was always busy. And decluttering has helped me spend more time with my pets. Quitting my job has helped me spend more time with my pets. And I feel like that is important because they're like your children and they wait for you to come home from work and they wait for you to sit down and hold them and they wait for your attention. And sometimes we just don't have the intention to give them. And that's not really fair to them. So I try to make time for my pets now and enjoy them because that's why they are there with me, is for us to enjoy each other. I have started focusing more on my health. I have started walking every single day, which I've shared with you guys. I've been able to strengthen a couple of knee injuries that I've had. My knees feel stronger than ever. I think a lot of that is even climbing in and out of the camper, which has helped strengthen my knees. I'm trying to improve my balance, improve my stamina. Before I came down here to Texas, I was maybe able to walk like 20 feet and then I was out of breath, or my back hurt, or I had to stretch it out and try to bend over because my lower back was killing me and I had the sciatica pain. So I am now able to walk probably about a mile without stopping, which is huge for me. I want to get back to where I was at before. I used to walk 4.5 miles a day before some of these injuries. And I know that that is a huge goal. And if I don't reach it, that's okay, but it's something to work towards. And I can already see that I am improving. I am losing weight. I am gaining strength. I am improving my balance. My knees are stronger. And even when I went to go do some of the yoga on my own, I brought my mat and my block. I realized that I couldn't do a lot of the poses that I used to do, but I had lost a lot of strength and balance. So that was something that I realized that I really want to regain as much as possible. So I am enjoying my days being retired. I am looking forward to my days. Some days it's difficult for me to get up and get dressed because things hurt. And I call those sometimes my swimsuit days. I've realized that if I just get up and put on my swimsuit and then either go to the pool when it gets warm, go to the hot tub, and do things like that, that it's easier on me than trying to get up, get changed, change into my swimsuit, get changed, and then change back again later. Just changing clothes is very hard on me. And I'm sure a lot of you understand that as well. So changing 2 or 3 times a day is something that I want to avoid. So I call that swimsuit days, and I just decide the day before after I look at the weather that tomorrow I'm just putting my swimsuit on. I'm also enjoying going to craft fairs, women's meet and greets. I tried water aerobics one day. I couldn't do most of the poses or the jumps or the twists, of course, because of my back, but I was able to do some of the things with the women, and they were so nice. They were like, just go sit on a step if you can't do that, and then do what you can from the sitting position. My goals were to have enough without having to keep working. Enough to get by, enough to live comfortably, enough to do the things that I still wanted to do. I had years of work experience, years of projected income. I knew that my Social Security projection was now where I could afford to live on it when I retired, and I wanted to build that up to an amount that I felt comfortable with. Many people will promote a non-working life or a non-traditional life of not working and doing side gigs and doing a little bit here and there to get by. You do have to have enough credits to be eligible for Social Security. With me working with seniors, I know I worked with people that never did get enough credits and couldn't draw off of themselves. So that's definitely something you want to think about. Social Security is not a given to anyone once you hit a certain age. Medicare is not a given once you hit a certain age. You have to have worked enough to be eligible for both of those. So I hope this video, it's kind of a get to know me video. I hope you have enjoyed this, that you find it interesting, that maybe you've learned something along the way on how to know how much Social Security that you're eligible for, how to look at that site to see if you're eligible, when you're eligible, what your monthly amount will be, and also maybe some of the things that you might look forward to once you are no longer working to fill your days. I have no trouble filling my days. I think that's part of the reason that my husband had decided that he wasn't ready to retire yet, is I'm not sure he has enough things that he knows how to fill his days. And I think he's one of those people that he's kind of like, I don't know what I would do. That wasn't a problem for me. But if you found this helpful or interesting, I hope to see you in the next video where we talk more about frugal living, saving money, cutting expenses, and living our best life on less. Thanks for listening today.